Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 10 Questions with a Musical Mind. I'm Peter, your host. Today we welcome guitarist Andy Burgess of the band Praying Mantis. Praying Mantis is, of course, a member of the new wave of British heavy metal that came to Europe in the late 70s, early 80s, including bands like Iron Maiden, Def Leppard, Saxon, and many more. Andy and I talk about everything from cooking to classic cars to guitars he's played over the years and the songwriting process for the band. A lot of interesting stuff here, so check it out and hopefully you enjoy it. Hello, Andy. How are you today?
Hi, Peter. Nice to meet you, man. Yeah, no, I'm good. Good.
Good to meet you too. Questions for you, mainly regarding your creative process
Sure.
on your own and with Praying Mantis. Number one, you have going off topic a bit, but you have a love for classic cars and you've done some restoration of them. Is there a car that you personally own that you wish you'd never gotten rid of?
A car that I've owned or wanted to own?
Sure, either one.
Well, we seem to find the guy I work with restoring the cars. I mean, I only do it sort of now and then, sort of dip in and out of it. We've been over, well, he flies over to the States quite a lot, and I've gone with him a few times. We found ourselves in California and Vegas, out in the desert, buying loads of Datsun 240Zs.
Yeah.
You know, the old classic 240s.
Yeah.
And I had one when I was about 19, so it kind of brings it all back to me, but it fell apart. It was rusty as hell. And helping him restore these, we've now got 10 in these garages. He's got Stingrays and big trucks and stuff. But for some reason, we seem to have become a bit obsessed with these 240Zs, and I think we actually own 10% of all the 240Zs in the UK.
Wow. Yeah, that was originally called the Fair Lady, was it not?
I actually own one, and I would actually love to have one of them, because when we've restored them, they look amazing, but I just can't afford to buy one after we've restored them.
No, I'm the same way. My first car was a Mark I Volkswagen Scirocco, and
wow.
I wish I still had that. You know, the original body style. But do you feel your passion for cars, and you seem to have a passion for cooking? Do you think those other outlets lend themselves to your overall creative nature? Like, do you view them as separate from your music or part of your overall creativity?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't really know, really. Man, it's kind of, yeah, you're right. I do love cooking, and just recently with Tino, we did a video for a cooking show based in the States. I really don't know what it was, but it was kind of bizarre. We were cooking and talking about the recording of the album whilst I was making fajitas and he was making mojitos. So it was kind of a bit of a crazy afternoon, that. But yeah, no, I've always loved cooking. I guess so, yeah. I am kind of creative. I do graphics as well. I used to run a graphics company many years ago and did lots of artwork and stuff like that. So I think I tend to do things less academic but more sort of artistic, if you like.
Sure, absolutely.
But cooking, definitely, man. I had a food business for a while as well. You know, it's great. I've always been self-employed because then you can make a bit of money while still doing the music.
Absolutely.
And I had a food stall doing pulled pork. We did amazing ribs and stuff like that. But now I'm kind of sort of doing various things. I also teach as well. I do a fair amount of teaching because I like working with people. So, you know, I can help people, and especially people that have been unemployed for quite some time. I help them get back into work, mainly through starting their own businesses and things like that.
Oh,
so
excellent.
Yeah, it's kind of creative stuff. I'm not too good at just sitting down and sort of doing day-to-day jobs. You know
No,
what I mean?
neither am I. Yeah, not at all. Who were your early musical heroes?
Right, yeah. I mean, they're all pretty predictable, actually. Growing up in England, I've got two older brothers who listened to a lot of rock when I was in my early teens. And then really I kind of then took up the real love of the guitar. My mum was a guitar player as well. And so from her I got this love of playing the guitar, and I just became obsessed with people like Jeff Beck. Mm-hmm. Adore Jeff Beck. I don't play in his style, but he just absolutely amazes me, you know. Larry Colton.
Yeah.
A top guitar player. I used to listen to a lot of Steely Dan, and I could just hear the Larry Carlton solos, and then I really got into his solo stuff.
Right.
Steve Lukather.
Mm-hmm.
It's all pretty obvious stuff. There's probably some more obscure ones that I can't really think of at the moment. But,
Sure.
I tend to put more melodic than shredders, if you know what I mean. I definitely lean to the more melodic guitar players, and ones that as soon as you hear them, you know who it is. To me, that's the secret of guitar playing is having an individuality as well as a distinctive style.
Of course. I don't think many people realize how much Steve Lukather's played on as a session player.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they don't realize that just, pop songs and everything, that he's been on 1,000 records. Yeah,
absolutely. And you can always hear it.
Absolutely, yeah.
You go, oh, that's a Lukather solo.
Right. And even I was listening to the other day on the radio, came on Melissa Manchester. That's him just playing the slow bends and behind the verses and stuff. But what does your gear consist of these days? Like, over your life, have you tended to stick to one or two brands of guitars, or you tried several over the years?
Yeah, quite a few. I'm not a huge collector of guitars, put it that way. I tend to have some. I mean, I've been working with LTD for some time now, and I've got 3 really nice LTD guitars that they're like ESP.
Yes.
But then not Japanese made. I think they're made in Korea. But man, do they play so nicely. And I played a Les Paul for years, and the thing weighed a ton, and you can, knock 24 frets, and to play up high, you have to disjoint your thumb to get up high.
Right.
And now I've got this beautiful LTD Les Paul, 24 fret, you can just, it just plays beautifully all the way up.
Nice.
And it doesn't weigh 3 tons, so it's great to play. I just love them.
Awesome, yeah.
They're very easy to play, very thin necks, and but yeah, over the years I've had lots of different guitars, some weird and wonderful ones. And in the 80s, back in the sort of 90s, I loved all the whammy bar-y sort of things, like ESPs and Jacksons and things like that. But I kind of grew out of them, and now hopefully I don't actually think I own a guitar with a whammy bar on at the moment. So I've kind of lost all of those over periods of time, and now my main thing is just guitars that play and sound nice. Well, that's what I hope anyway.
Well, I can see that when I've had guitars, if I'm not using the whammy bar, at some point it just becomes a hassle to mess with the Floyd Rose restringing it.
Yeah. Especially live as well, man. You bust the string and the whole thing. I just found that, I've got nothing against whammy solos, and especially the way Jeff Beck uses it. He uses it to a whole different level. And I say years ago, there was an English guitar player called Sean Murphy who played on he was a great session player, and he had a very kind of amazing whammy style. But I just don't really kind of need to dive bomb every so often, do you know what I mean? I just don't need to do it. I'd much rather, I mean, don't get me wrong. If I had got a guitar next week with a whammy bar on it, it's just not a conscious thing. But I just realised that I actually have one with a whammy bar at the moment. So,
right.
But it's not something that would drive me to buy a guitar.
Absolutely, yeah. When you guys are recording, how do you and Tino decide who plays which part?
Well, it's kind of normally written around the songwriting. We tend to we don't. I've been with Mantis for 3 studio albums, so it was Sanctuary about 10 years ago, Legacy that was about 4 years ago, and Gravity, the new one. And on all the albums, I had quite a strong songwriting contribution, and that's kind of increased. So the more albums we've done.
Great, yeah.
And I tend to work a lot on my own in the studio. I've got a studio at my house, and I'll sit there, I'll work with drum patterns, and I'll work with guitar riffs and keyboards, and kind of come up with an idea.
Yeah.
And then we kind of tend to throw songs to each other, and if Tino goes, oh man, can I do a solo on that? I'll be absolutely. Or quite often by then I may have layered up a lot of the guitars anyway. So then when it comes to recording it, we just it just seems to happen naturally. So I'd say probably on Tino's songs, he's playing most of the guitars. On my songs, I'm playing most of the guitars. But when Chris, Tino's brother, writes, he tends to write on keyboards. So he'll send me the song, he'll send Tino a song, we'll discuss it, and one of us will then layer up the guitars on it. So it just kind of depends who's kind of picked the song up first. But it's not an unusual way to work, but it's probably not normal. We don't often spend a lot of time sitting together when we're writing. We do obviously at other times, but while we're writing, we all tend to kind of go off and do it ourselves. Then things change when you bring it to the band, you know, and we actually play them through, and other people have some input, and obviously lyrically, working with our singer John or previous singers, that's when a song can really suddenly then just take off, you know. And but really, guitar-wise, there's no sort of set recipe.
Gotcha.
We just tend to layer up the basic guitars at home. Then when it comes to record it always seems to make sense. Harmony parts, obviously, we do together.
Right.
But if you're just layering up the rhythm guitars, it just depends whose song it is, really. We tends to do the majority of the playing.
That makes sense. And that kind of answers my next question in part, because I was going to ask you if, when you were writing, is the band typically in a room together? Are you like emailing tracks or giving each other tracks to work on? So it sounds like that's what you do a lot.
Yeah, very much. I think it's not because we're precious of our own material. It's just the way it's kind of worked, really.
Well, it's taking advantage of the convenience of it.
Yeah, no, exactly. But also, you know, I tend to sort of write at like 2 a.m, sitting around at home.
Right.
And I'll sneak up and think of something, and you know, the convenience of having your own studio, headphones on, playing straight into my Mac through some nice bits of gear I've got a huge guitar sound, get the drums up, and suddenly it all happens, you know. And don't get me wrong, we've written before as a band. There's a song on the new album, which for the life of me I can't remember that one, but we actually wrote as a band, which was quite unusual for us. And there was 3 or 4 songs that never actually made it onto the album that we kind of jammed out together, put them down. And they didn't make it onto the album because they weren't good enough. They just kind of were a bit late in the whole process to make it on.
Ah, okay. Well, perhaps
because
we'll be on the
John,
next one.
our singer and drummer, live in Holland.
Right.
So it's a good 8 hours journey to get over to see them. And maybe not, maybe 6 or 7. So we tend to do a lot of things virtually, you know, by Skype, emailing songs around. Obviously, when we're away playing, when we're on tour, we spend time together. But our drummer has a nice, full-size studio next to his house. Not so much recording, but rehearsal, and it's a great place to jam ideas out and then, rehearse for tours. But that's where we've written quite a few songs more recently together. It's just starting to work like that. So I would say for the next album, which is going to be in a couple of years' time, maybe less actually, there will be some songs that are written more as a band, as opposed to, tending the core ideas being written at, sitting at home at 2 a.m.
Well, I'm sure I'll be looking forward to it. The last couple efforts you've had of, and really, especially since you've been in the band, it's just been stellar. I mean, I think Legacy, Gravity are just some of the strongest in the catalog, so...
Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, I definitely tend to be the AOR side of things. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I kind of, my influences are, very obviously, sadly, Toto, Journey. You can list them all. And I kind of can hear my songwriting and going, oh man, dude, come on, dude. But it's, you can hear my influences, the bands I listen to in my songwriting. I just get a buzz out of layering up songs and getting that kind of the sound that I want in my head,
I think artists tend to be too hard on themselves. I think when you write something, you may think, oh, this is clearly derivative of this band. I don't think the listener really picks up on that always.
No, I know. But yeah, it's more about, yes, I mean, you can definitely hear my influence on the songs that are the more AOR ones, shall we say, and the ones obviously I've mainly written. There's a weird one called Ghosts of the Past on the new album that I've had around for some time, and that's much more less like of my normal style. It's much more dramatic. Much more. It's got more it's more like a film score than
Yeah.
a our song.
We'll talk about the
And
new
I
album.
really pushed to get that song on the album because it didn't really sit with the rest of things, and I was like, come on guys, we need, let's mix things up a bit. I mean, there's some unusual songs on there, and we were kind of, when me and Tino mixed it, we were like, whoa man, I'm really not sure whether people are going to like this, but we're going to do it anyway.
No, it all sounds great.
It was this kind of sick feeling in our stomachs that maybe we had kind of, it was a bit of a mix of songs. But we went with it, and it seems to have got good reviews all over the world. So,
yeah.
And we've been sitting high in the Japanese rock charts for now 3 months, I think. I think we've just gone up to number 6. So
that's great.
So we're very happy with that. And obviously it works,
Yes. So, on the new album, talk about writing, on a song like Keep It Alive.
Yeah.
The very lush vocals in the intro and the chorus, and it's a gorgeous part. It's a great hook. But when you're writing a song, is that lush vocals, is that part of the original vision, or does that sort of develop while you're recording? Like, we can build this up.
Mantis, before I joined them, were always known for their vocal harmonies. It was always the band, even though they were part of the new wave of British heavy metal. They were always known to have great harmony vocals, which most British, new wave British heavy metal bands don't normally go for that approach.
Right.
And when Tino and Chris asked me to join, I was obviously blown away. But secondly, really excited about working on layering up vocals and having big harmony vocals and big choruses and lots of backing vocals. So when we write, I mean, Tino and Chris have this harmony that they always do themselves, yeah? So I struggle a bit more. I have to pitch simpler ones. But when we're writing, they immediately take these harmonies and straight away, woof, the chorus goes huge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't have to work very hard to layer up those harmonies because they've obviously grown up together and written so many songs together. They immediately have this, Chris takes, I don't know whether it's a third or a fifth, and Tino takes a different harmony, and immediately, bosh, the chorus is big.
Now, it's funny,
a lot of effort.
When you have brothers in a rock band, it seems to go one of two ways. They're either harmonious and united in vision for 40 years, or they're beating the daylights out of each other for 40 years. I mean, you've got...
It's a bit of both.
Yeah, you've got, the Van Halen brothers, and then you've got, like, the Davies brothers and the Kinks, who just constantly fight, so...
Yeah, no, I think they're a happy medium.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
It's a real pleasure working with them because they've been playing together for a very long time together, and it's just complete professionalism all the time. There's never any issues between the two of them. We just get on and do what we have to do. It's it's a very harmonious band, so it's great. And you kind of forget they're brothers because they're very different characters as well. You do forget they are brothers.
That's interesting.
But just a real pleasure to work with.
And I know you've talked about your influence being the main ones. Any musicians or bands you like that you think would maybe surprise your fans?
Sorry, say that again? Sorry, man.
Do you think you have any musicians or bands that you like that you think would be a surprise to your fans? Like something like, I wouldn't have expected them to be a big fan of such and such.
Well, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I listen to all sorts of music.
Mm-hmm.
I've always got the radio on. I'm always listening to music, and I download and I stream a lot of things. I mean, I do like a lot of heavier stuff, but again, more melodic, like Alter Bridge, Miles Kennedy, and his voice just does my head in. I just absolutely adore Alter Bridge. And I've been prone to listen to quite some heavy stuff, but then on the other side, I listened to. We had an Earth, Wind and Fire session the other weekend where it was me and Hans and the guys. We were sitting in a bar in Tokyo, actually. And a lot of fans had come in and they were sitting in the other end of the bar waiting for us to come in. And we were really late getting there. We got into the bar. And we know the lady that runs the bar. And she said, guys, what do you want to put on? And we all went, let's put on some Earth, Wind and Fire. And we all sang in harmony along with it. And our poor fans were sitting there looking at us like, what the hell? It was... so I mean, I'll listen to anything, man. I mean, I love And I like a sort of, a fair amount of classical music, but I don't get a chance to listen to that as much as I'd like to. My parents were big classical music fans, so that also is kind of always in my mind somewhere. But a specific artists that would surprise people, yeah, it's a tricky one. I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head. But,
that's fine. Yeah. When as a guitar player, is there a big adjustment?
My alarm's going off on them. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. As a guitarist, is there an adjustment period when you're playing with new members? Like when Hans took over drums, does it take a while to gel with a different style, or is it usually pretty easy?
It's. I mean, Hans very professional. I knew the guys, John and Hans. We had met. We had met at a Phil Lynott tribute in Dublin about 5 years before they joined the band, and we ended up jamming together. I was in a version of a band that Phil Lynott used to be in years ago, and we ended up busking all together at the end of the after-show party and got absolutely slaughtered, completely drunk. And then about 5 years later, we're playing in Holland, and the drummer comes up to me and goes, "Man, you were in Grand Slam in Dublin," and I couldn't remember a thing. And then it all fell into place. We at the time were looking for a new drummer and a singer, and we were just amazed at how tight these guys were. How, as a duo, like the drummer and the singer, they were just like, they would fit perfectly. And from then it just kind of fell in naturally, and it really wasn't any effort at all. They just slotted in straight away. There was no big changeover. It was just a pleasure.
That's great. Yeah, it's funny. To this day, I remember when Thin Lizzy kind of went on hiatus. I remember reading a brief article on Phil starting Grand Slam, and it was just like he's forming his own band called Grand Slam, and I was a teenager, and I never heard another word about it. Never heard the music.
Yeah, no. For some bizarre reason, weirdly, he formed up with a English guitar player called Lawrence Archer, who I saw the other day. We were in a rehearsal studio and walked in, and I heard him playing a Grand Slam song. And I thought, nobody covers a Grand Slam song. So we stuck my head in the studio, and there's Lawrence Archer in there, and they were preparing for a show with a reincarnation of Grand Slam. Yeah, for some reason they never got signed, and unfortunately Phil then took a turn for the worse, and it all kind of downhill from then, really.
And back in those days, obviously no internet. If it's not distributed or played or signed, or there was no way for a kid to find out more about the music. You just
absolutely, yeah. It was a very difficult time, but they did quite a few shows, and then obviously when there's this reunion every year in January for the anniversary for Phil, and some guys approached us, and then Lawrence approached me about doing this Grand Slam reunion. So it was great to play these songs because most Lizzy fans had never heard them, or they'd heard them on a demo tape and that sort of stuff. So it was great.
And I know John Sykes waved the Thin Lizzy flag for years too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my last question, which you've answered already a little bit, what are your plans or the band's plans beyond 2018? You say maybe a new album in a couple of years, or?
Well, the main thing is to obviously push Gravity. We have some nice festivals coming up throughout August. And then next year, this year was a little bit weird planning-wise. We changed management, and it coincided with the album coming out, and we hadn't really secured the big festivals that we wanted to do through the summer. So that's our main plan for 2019, is to do the big festival circuit, which I love doing. This is my very favourite thing. And then hoping to get back to Japan. And there's been talk about the possibility of a US tour, as well as South America.
Oh, good.
And the logistics of that are kind of scary. So we're looking at the viability of doing it because of just the cost of coming to the States. The visas alone make it so difficult for the band to come over and play. But we've got some good people working on it at the moment, and we're hoping that potentially 2019 could be the year, because as a band together, we've never played in the States.
I'd love to see you over here. Absolutely.
Yeah,
definitely. This is your third record on Frontiers, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. They seem to be a good label. Are you happy with them? They really seem
to... Yeah, we love Frontiers.
To be pretty active in promoting and...
They are, yeah. I mean, I think they're pretty much the premier rock label now, especially in Europe.
Yeah.
They deal with all the guys, like, well, back in the day it was like Whitesnake and
Right.
FM, and I think they worked with Journey for a while as well. But they're very big on their AOR rock. You have to fit the Frontiers profile. But as long as and then it's great because people tend to buy Frontiers albums, so they might see a band and go, well, I've never heard that band before, but they're on Frontiers, so I kind of know what I'm going to get.
Right, they've done a good job of branding themselves.
Our audience quite a bit, yeah, I think. But yeah, they're great. They do. We played at the Frontiers Festival this year with Striper and Quiet Riot, and that was great fun. Yeah, we were in Milan. So yeah, they always look after us, and we just love working with them because they, as you say, they have a very good network throughout the world. So when something's released, immediately you can see that it's we can see that it's released all over the world, which is nice. Instead of streaming and that, to still have hard copies on shelves in Tokyo and in South America, it's nice to be able to see pictures of people buying your albums in record shops. Where these days it's definitely more, a streaming kind of thing. And I think if we weren't involved with Frontiers, it wouldn't have that same gravitas to the whole thing. They really do know how to promote something, so it's great for us.
Yeah, their U.S. office is just a couple hours from me. In Nashville, yeah.
Yeah, I live in Nashville, right? Yeah, I can't think of the Frontiers guy there from the world. We met him here from the States in Milan this year. He's a really nice guy. We had a good long chat, and he's working on our behalf in the States, trying to get things burning, get things going over there, because we would love to come over. But,
yeah, we'd love to see you. That'd be great.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, if that gets, you'll have to. Well, I follow Frontiers and you guys, so I'm sure if that comes around, I'll be sure to spread the word on my end as much as I can. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. That would be fantastic.
Great.
Thanks, man.
Make sure everybody knows your. Tell us the website again, where we can keep up to date with everything.
Sure. You put me on the spot now. It's Praying Mantis Rocks. .com.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll send you the stuff, man, and maybe post it up on the bottom of the video, because off the top of I'm pretty sure it's www.prayingmantisrocks.com.
Yes, I have it here, but yes, I'll be sure to post that up too. Well, it's been a pleasure.
I'm right on that one, I made the others.
Absolutely.
I mean, really, we do a lot of stuff through Facebook. Our website is, we have people that look after it, but it's we tend to be a bit more sort of Facebooky, and we're getting kind of savvy now with YouTubes and making sure that everything's done right and through the right channels, etc. So we're even though we're all quite old, we're actually getting with the understanding how technology, you can maximize your coverage and stuff through using social media. So by all means, anything we can push through social media is always good for us.
Excellent. Well, Andy, it's been a pleasure. I certainly appreciate you taking the time to discuss everything. And
no problem, man.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again. All right. Well, have a good day.
You too, man. Thanks a lot. Take care. Cheers.
You too.
Bye.